once again, and welcome to Heroes and Droids, your guide to TV and movies about superheroes, sci-fi, Disney, and action. From Marvel to DC, from Star Wars to Star Trek, from James Bond to the Fast and Furious, we will review theatrical films and streaming delights you care about most. And tonight we are doing an original IP. An original IP, Christopher G. Moore. An original IP. Free Guy. Now it has references.
It does include previous IPs, but yeah, it is an original IP.
In and of itself, it's an original IP.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, Free Guy finally has hit theaters. Of course, it was one of the many films in the past year delayed by COVID. It landed finally, and I'm excited that we are going to review it tonight. All right. I am your host, Doc Rotten, and joining me tonight is the award-winning filmmaker, Christopher G. Moore. How you doing, Christopher?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm glad we could talk about this film. I had so much fun watching it. I think it's one of the most entertaining films of the year.
It definitely is. And there was one that I had to reach out to you and say, you gotta see this, man. You gotta see it. All right. What we're going to do is we're going to give our first impressions, if we haven't already. That will be spoiler free. And then we're going to get into the discussion, and we will get into spoilers because there's a ton of things to spoil. If you haven't seen this movie, I think we're both saying right out of the gate, just go see it. Free Guy, a lot of fun. And then we'll wrap things up with our final thoughts, our score, a 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. That's going to be actually, no, it's not. I actually know what my favorite scene is, but it might be hard to choose if you choose mine. But there could be a lot. The entire movie could be my favorite scene. All right, let's jump into it. What are we talking about? We're talking about Free Guy from 20th Century Studios, which also means Disney, just so everybody knows. But they do have this arm called 20th Century Studios, and this is one of those. It's available in theaters August 13, 2021, directed by Shawn Levy, written by Matt Lieberman and Zack Penn. The cast includes, but is not limited to, Ryan Reynolds, Jodie Comer, Taika Waititi. Did I do okay on that time?
Yeah.
Howery, Joe Carey, Utkarsh Bukhar. I hope I said that right. Channing Tatum and Aaron W. Reed. The synopsis: a bank teller discovers he's actually an NPC, inside a brutal open world video game. Yes. Let's just real quick. Ryan Reynolds, that's Free Guy. Jodie Comer, Joe Carey,
Stranger Things.
I want to say little, but Lil Rel Howery.
Lil Rel Howery.
Yes. And this is my favorite poster.
I love that. I hope I see cosplays of that. I want to make that cosplay, by the way.
Oh my gosh. And of course,
Taika Waititi.
All right. I just had to go through those posters because I think I love these. I love that they're doing these character posters now more times than not. I really do love them. All right, let's do this. Christopher G. Moore, sir, what is your first impression of Free Guy? Real Guy. No.
Did you forget what movie we're
I did.
I love this film. I wasn't sure what to think. I mean, you could probably compare it to some other films. I mean, even the new Space Jam, has a similar thing to it. Ready Player One, Matrix. It has a lot of those elements that sort of make up for what it is. But this film has a real heart to it that really makes it stand out. It kind of reminds me of just the positivity of Bill and Ted Face the Music. You come out of this film feeling hopeful and happy,
yes,
and entertained. Yes. I laughed from beginning to end, and it's also great to sort of see that Ryan Reynolds is a lot of times well known as being that sort of wise ass type character. That's the reason he can play Deadpool so well. But in this one, he plays a really sort of innocent type character that still has his wisecracks, but not like on the level of mean as they are in Deadpool. And I think, he's almost like the the Forrest Gump of this sort of weird, electronic universe. He doesn't understand how a lot of these things work when he gets sort of finds out kind of world that he's a part of. But yeah, and it has so many really wonderful references, and it doesn't hit you over the head like this. I hated the Space Jam sequel. I thought it was pretty horrible because it was all about just these are all the IPs that we own that Warner Brothers owns, and we're gonna shove it in your face and make you like it. And this one, when the references come up, they're references that make you cheer, make you laugh. And then some references probably will go over some people's heads because there's cameos by a lot of famous YouTube personalities and Twitch personalities and video people who comment on video games and stuff that probably maybe you probably didn't know, Doc, but I
didn't know any of them. Yeah.
I have an ancillary knowledge of it just based on some of the content that I take in, but I've never actually probably seen any of these people, but I know of them. But yeah, it's a really fun movie that sort of there's a lot of it's one of those films I want to go back and watch again and again just to catch some of the stuff in the background because it really sort of not only is it sort of its own sort of IP and interesting story, but also it plays into a lot of the tropes of video games and a lot of the stuff. Because I mean, even in the background, you see characters moving in certain ways where you like when you're playing a video game and your character doesn't move the way it's supposed to be, if it's some kind of glitch, they play into those type of things, and how those sort of games play out. So, and there's just so many really fun characters. Taika Waititi plays like the best asshole type character that you could have in these type of films. And then Jodie Comer, who's added to my new crush list, who really, you get to see sort of two versions of her, like the video game version and a real life version. And she's an amazing actress to be able to play off what she plays off in this film. But overall, it's just a fun, it's kind of funny because it's a really uplifting film, even though there's a lot of violence, but it's more video game violence, but there was a moment that made me emotional because it was like so beautiful, because there's a moment where she has that connection or whatever. And without giving anything away, it made me emotional because there was like a romance aspect of it. It was really beautiful and heartfelt. And then you felt for this character throughout. And there's just so many great moments that really could have just been these 2D characters, but they were really very nuanced, fleshed out characters. Even his best friend Buddy, he has his little moment to where she's more than just like a character in this universe. So I just love the hell out of this film. I really, just from beginning to end, I had so much fun enjoying this universe, enjoying this character free guy, and just all how they sort of had fun with the video game universe, all the stuff that's in those type of universes. For those, I mean, maybe if you're not a huge video game fan, you might not get it as much, but I think that the heart of it is still out there for you to enjoy.
Yeah, you don't need to be a video game fan to really get this. I mean, I know enough about video games. I haven't really played a lot of them. You mentioned a couple of references that were over my head, but it didn't matter. The concept is it's really easy to follow. It's not asking a lot of you, but at the same time, it's providing a lot for you. It's really a terrific movie, and it, like you said, it has a heart. This may be my favorite performance from Ryan Reynolds. He's so innocent. He still has that edge that he likes to bring, that snarkiness, but it's reserved. Because the character needs it to be reserved, and it's played wonderfully well. He gets his opportunities to be that character, and to me, it didn't feel as Ryan Reynolds as other Ryan Reynolds roles have. And I think he's perfect for this role. Because Deadpool is obviously his signature role at this point in time, right? But this one, I'm glad, we got the news that Disney is looking to do another one, and I'm glad. I think this is a world that we can definitely revisit because it did grow. there is a arc to not only the characters but the actual environment in which they reside in. So that is wonderful, and you really get swept up in it. You get caught. There's it's the virtual world is actually more interesting than the real world, but at the same time, the real world part really has its own heart to it as well. And I think the moment you were talking about is in the real world when she realizes when the dots come together. I really did enjoy this. I'll just put it out there right now. At this point in time, this is my favorite movie of the year. I absolutely love this movie, and I can't wait to see it again. I can't wait to see it with friends. I can't wait to own it. I can't wait to watch it over and over again. I can't wait for a sequel. It has moments that really spoke to me as a lover of other films. And there were some game references that I did catch. A few. I did not know what the unicorn thing was, but you told me before
Fortnite
the show.
Video. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Fortnite references to this.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah, that I know enough about Fortnite that the whole the world environment feels very much like that. But anyway, go see this movie. I absolutely love it, and yay.
Well, I think for me the best concept of this, or the best thing that really stood out to me, it is all about, because you have a lot of these, and I love a lot of video games. I love a lot of violent video games, shooters, and that kind of stuff. But you have this character. He's like, no, I just want to do good stuff. So you have a character you're cheering for that's doing nice stuff. He cares about people. Even though he's like this non-player character, as they call him, he has a heart. And to have a film that actually celebrates positivity.
Yeah. Oh, that's
a
wonderful.
Rarity in this world, because there's a lot of sarcasm, a lot of negativity with a lot of films these days, and they don't really celebrate positivity. And this film, the element of this character is all about positivity, and I love that, and granted, yeah, it still has, it still has the violent aspect of it. It still has a lot of jokes. Although there was one joke that fell really flat in the theater, because there's a Taika Waititi sort of cancer joke that he makes. It like nobody laughed in the theater because it was like, oh, too far. But then there's other jokes that Taika Waititi says. I think there's one part where he says, "What you talking about, Willis?" Or so. There's some really funny moments that maybe he improvised it, but there's some really funny dialogue sequences. There's a lot of really fun visual stuff. There's a lot of stuff a lot of fun they have with Channing Tatum.
Oh my God! Yeah,
who's this character in the world where and that they utilize his dancing abilities because for those that don't know about the game Fortnite, you do these dances in the game that sometimes they do as TikTok dances and stuff. And so you have him, he's doing all these dances as his character, and he's perfectly cast for that. But yeah, it's just so much fun, and they do have those sort of moments that tie into other properties, and and because Disney and Marvel are part of the 20th Century Fox, you get to see those moments play out, and it's cheer-worthy. I know that I cheered in the theater.
And a nice cameo with it too.
Oh, a nice cameo that I wasn't expecting either. And there's like a lot of voice cameos, and I knew there's a couple of voice cameos for some of these player characters that come into the world that right away I was like, oh, I know that's. Can I say it? Or
yes, we're
okay. I know that's Hugh Jackman. I know that's The Rock. They're not even trying to hide their voices. I did not catch some of the other ones. Like there's a Tina Fey voice cameo, and John Krasinski plays one of the game voices in it, supposedly. So you do have those moments that are really sort of fun to sort of catch. And then there's other just references to other video games. I mean, there's there's Fortnite references, as Grand Theft Auto video game references. There's references to Marvel properties. There's a Star Wars reference, which I was very happy about. So there's like so many moments like that really work really well, and just how they sort of like are playing in this universe and utilizing all those specific things you think about when it comes to characters, like, the little health boxes that you can,
Oh my God.
I mean, or the when you upgrade your guns, or just the rules of this universe and how they integrate these things we know when it comes to video games in general, and how those play out. Or just even the fun where they do an upgraded character of the guy character, but he's not a finished, which, by the way, that character is going to pop up in Fortnite. They're actually created that character. You could use that skin in Fortnite. So yeah, there's just, I don't know, there's just like so many like cheer-worthy moments, so many really fun parts, and like in other movie properties, like, let's say The Matrix, seeing the people in the real world a lot of times are not as cool as in the Matrix, but you kind of enjoy the characters in the real world as well, at least I did.
I did too,
which by the end of it, the way the ending plays out, it's a very heartfelt ending for me. I got a little bit teary-eyed, and there's even a moment when they're in the video game where she makes a connection with Guy with like bubblegum ice cream or whatever.
Yes.
I got a little bit emotional. I was like, wow, this has turned into a heartfelt romantic comedy all of a sudden that I'm really enjoying. And I was like, so yeah, it's just overall just a fun film, or just even just because I mean, a lot of times the non-playable characters are always the jokes of the video game universe, because they're always repeating the same thing and they don't really have a mind of their own. It's just how they play into that as well, which is kind of fun. Yeah, it's a wonderful universe they've created in this. And for it to be the main focus to be on positivity and stuff is just a rarity in this world with so much negativity going on. I just love the hell out of this film. This makes me smile just thinking about it. And I can't wait to watch it again, because it's just, yeah, I think Ryan Reynolds is just perfect in that role. And I'm not sure what they could do in a sequel. I'm sure it might play into other maybe video game universes in this, sort of.
Well, they definitely have a new world to explore, and new worlds bring new problems. So there's definitely somewhere they can go. I think Joe Keery is also really well cast. I think this is one of his better roles. Jodie Comer, of course, is this movie's going to make her a star. If you didn't already know who she was, and you watch this, you will. She almost, well, no, I'm going to say she steals the movie for me. She is great in her dual role in this. But what I liked about this is are the relationships between, like, just between Buddy and Guy. This relationship, and there's some really heartfelt moments in that. Some of them are in the trailer. Like, if not sitting here, helping my best friend, if that's not real, I don't know what is. That
moment is
so genuine and plays out in the movie, right?
Well, and how I mean, again, it celebrates positivity. It celebrates friendship,
right?
I mean, you have a Guy and his buddy friend.
Right.
Who spend all their moments in this video game going to have beers on the ocean every night. It's like, I don't know. It's just like some really, really, I mean,
these characters,
I don't want to give it anything away, but there's a really funny joke he makes about centaurs that made me laugh.
Yeah, I did too.
But yeah, it's like, you have these characters that have such an innocence about it, but then how they sort of deal with the weirdness of what they're dealing with, it just makes it even funnier, or even just the parts where Joe Keery's character and who was his Mouser, I think his friend Mouser or whatever, when they go into the universe, and he shows up in like his porn cop skin, and the other guy comes up as this sort of amped up Easter bunny with the gun. I mean,
that was great.
Yeah, there's just, I don't know, there's just like really fun moments that sort of, that sort of play into that video game universe and how you can do all these crazy things.
Yep.
Um, oh my gosh, the movie is just fun. It is fun from beginning to end.
Yep.
We don't see too many movies like this that sort of just have this sort of like you get injected with fun from the beginning to end. You know, it's like a vaccination of funness.
I'm glad you did that. Vaccination of funness. I get back to Buddy real quick. There's a scene in there where it gets kind of serious just for a quick hot second when Guy wants him to put the glasses on so he can see it, but he just can't do it. And it just spoke so much for me, that the difference between these two characters. Another thing that I want to talk about is Dude. You mentioned him, which is the beefed up version of Guy that isn't quite done, and his catchphrase is
catchphrase.
Yes, insert. There's like he lists three things. It was like this thing, that thing, insert thing here. But he actually lists two things first. But anyway, what they do with it, I was expecting to hate that character because in the trailer I was like, oh no, this isn't going to work. But it works so well in the movie, and it is what happens with that character I love even more. And I really like that character, Dude. So much fun. It's like I said, this world, right? You just really get to like it. And there's all these little ancillary characters that, like the barista. What a great way. It's like, she's like, I can make a cappuccino. And so she wants to find out what a cappuccino is. They become, these AIs become self-aware and they start becoming AIs, right? I guess these blocks of codes become AIs. But I loved how they made that happen, right? Because that was going to be the trick, because how does Guy do this? And it could get really clunky and really weird, or it could just be metaphysical, this weird thing they never explained. But I think what they chose to do and how they executed it was perfection. I really loved how, because it not only does it explain, but it also becomes the heart of the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what great screenwriting this has.
Well, yeah, and there's just, it's, yeah, I mean, there's like so much meaning in what they're saying. There's so many really sort of plays on phrases that are really funny. Also the Shawn Levy, who directed it, who also has a connection to Stranger Things because he directed episodes of it. But his daughters have cameos in it.
Oh, nice.
They're like gamers in one part. Which supposedly was some idea that Ryan Reynolds came up with, and he's like, "Hey, let's just shoot." They shot it in his house. They shot it in their bedroom. That's insane. So I thought that was kind of great. But yeah, I don't know. There's like so many moments in this film that makes me smile, makes me laugh, makes me giggle.
Shawn Levy directed one of my guilty pleasures for the past decade, Real Steel.
Which is why how he got Hugh Jackman to do a voice cameo.
Yeah, that movie should not have worked. It's basically Rock'em Sock'em Robots, but I love that movie. It didn't make a dent anywhere, but I don't know. Of course, he's known for Night in Museum, which whatever.
Well, yeah, which I guess you could say this. There's a correlation to this as well.
Yeah, I guess you could. Yeah, I mean, this is really well directed. I mean, it is. He's at the top of his game, and the special effects are brilliant. It's lit really well, and it's so colorful. It pops. Really, really great.
Well, stuff. Yeah, a few of the set pieces work really well for what they needed for. Like there's that whole what I call like James Bond villain lair on the cliff that they go into, and there's other moments where they can sort of like they can change the environment, like when the Keys comes in and they change the environment to catch up with Guy and stuff like that are kind of fun, or even like the little gamer haven room.
Yeah, and the things they have, because they can always do weapons and all these different things, like the little parasail. But the shoes, can we talk about the shoes? The shoes were awesome. He he was always wanting to buy these shoes, and when he learned he could make more money, and the first thing he does is go out and buy these shoes, but they come with a little special tweak, and that was I really love that.
Give him a little bit of an extra ability there, and that, but he's got to figure out how to use it.
He doesn't necessarily do. So there's a lot to love about this film, and I think all I'm going to do if I continue talking about it like this is just gush. I think maybe the same for you. So I think we should wrap this up and give our final thoughts, our score 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. But before we do, if you're listening to this review, we want to thank you for hanging out with us. We hope you enjoyed not only this review, but many others that we have on the site. And if you want to help us out, it's really easy and free to do. Hit the subscribe button down below or share with a friend, and that will do wonders. Of course, you can hit the bell to be notified. Make sure you hit all so you can get those notifications when we have the next one. And leave us your comment. What was your favorite cameo reference? Because there's many that we haven't mentioned. I want to know what you'd like down below. All right, Christopher G. Moore, give it to me. Your final thoughts, your score, and favorite scene. Free
Guy. Free Guy, yeah, is it's a wonderful film. I think it's one of those films that kind of stands out from the crowd, you know, to where it's something that has a real heart to it, and it has a sense of fun to it. It's that overall sort of I don't know. It feels like that they really sort of wanted to inject it with a positive attitude, and you don't see that in a lot of films. And I think, but also it sort of plays into a lot of the video game tropes that we know and love, and has a lot of fun with that, and creates its own world and sort of world building in the process of it. And also has those little Easter eggs or those little things, those little fanboyish things that sort of make us smile or cheer or clap when we see it. But I think Ryan Reynolds is really one of his best roles, because he really embodies it in a way that you have this sort of innocent character that's got a, you know, I sort of play against type. I mean, there's almost like a little bit of Wreck-It Ralph, you know, would you have that character?
There is a little bit of that, yeah.
Sort of play against type when it comes to not realizing, what he's able to do, and this universe and stuff. And also Jodie Comer, who's like, evidently she's really great at doing accents and stuff, because she can go from doing a normal spot on American accent to British accent to whatever accent. And for her to sort of play almost like kind of dual characters, even though it's her playing a character in the game, she does a really great job of playing that off, playing this sort of like Tomb Raider-ish, type character in this video game. Just all the characters come together. Taika Waititi's doing his normal stuff of just being this big outlandish character, and playing this really jerk character. He plays it to the nth degree really well. There's just so many quotable moments, so many moments that make you laugh, can make you cry, make you smile. With all the negative things and horrible things we've been through in the last year or so, this is the feel-good movie of the year. I mean, really, if you want to sort of be entertained, laugh, and forget the world for a moment, this is the perfect film for that. And kind of makes me excited to see maybe what else they could do in this universe. But at the same time, I wouldn't mind watching this again and again.
Yeah.
This might be one of those future go-to movies where it's like, I'm feeling kind of crappy. I'm going to watch Free Guy. And for an hour and a half or so, I'm going to melt into this world and enjoy it. I will give this a 5 out of 5. I really enjoyed this film. There's few films that made me come out of it just smiling ear to ear. And when you have those moments where you remember those moments, then the film, it just makes you smile again. There's a lot of moments you could probably pick for a favorite scene. I'm wondering if if my moment might be similar to your moment.
I think it might be.
But you know what else? Okay, I'll do this so I may not steal your moment. I'll say there's a Star Wars moment that I really enjoyed.
Yes.
It probably will tie into your moment. So I won't steal your moment. But I will say the romantic moment between Guy and Molotov Girl, where she has this realization that she has this connection with this video game character, or who she thinks might be someone who's who's playing that character or whatever. It's a really beautiful moment. And I will say that it ties into a later moment at the very end. I think is a very beautiful, romantic, heartfelt moment that made me tear up. And I wasn't expected to tear up in this film. I just expected to laugh. I was like, how dare you make me cry during this film twice at most. So I will say that probably is one of the many favorite moments of this film.
Yeah, it's like one of those tearjerker romantic comedy moments, like out of, like what am I thinking of? I'm thinking of like anything with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan.
My best friend's wedding is one of my favorites. There's moments that make me, every time I watch it, I cry. So I think there's those two moments that you really, because they flesh out these characters so well and you care about those characters, it just hits you in your heart.
Yep.
So.
This movie blew me away. I knew it was going to be fun, and I knew I was going to like it. I figured I was going to like it. I didn't know, but I figured I did. But I didn't know I was going to love it so much. I really fell for this movie. This movie, like you said, I love the optimism. I love how he starts out a little naive, but yet when he learns what he is, he could easily have turned and just took advantage of everything that was offered to him. But no, he stays. He wants to do good. That's not naive. That is actually choosing to do good, and I love that. I love that this character does that, and I love the representation of the reaction to it. Of course, our bad guy doesn't like it, but a lot of the gaming people did, and I like the message, and I like the romance. That's the multiple romances in here, we'll say. And the world building, the special effects, the actors, the direction, it's all spot on, and I love this film. And I think I've fallen for Jodie Comer. I think she is so good in this, especially in both roles. I don't know if I knew she was the same person until I started really getting into what the movie was about, a couple of weeks before. I thought it was going to be like two people playing her, but it's her. And there is a difference. She has a different body language, a different style. The wig and the costume helps, but she there's a confidence that one character has that the other doesn't really. And it great performances. She's going to be the lead in Ridley Scott's The Last Duel later this year, starring alongside Ben Affleck and Matt Damon and Adam Driver, another Star Wars reference. And continuing the Star Wars reference, she was Rey's mother in Star Wars films. I would never have known that if it wasn't listed here, but she plays Rey's mother in the flashbacks in Rise of Skywalker.
What?
Yes.
How did I not know that?
I don't know. So, and I think a lot of people will know her from Killing Eve, but I haven't seen any of that. I might have to watch it now.
Well, I think that's a lot of the interviews they talked about her great job in Killing Eve.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes me gonna watch more stuff that she's a part of because she's not American, so she does a spy on American accent.
She does. Yeah, even if her English accent does get confused for Australian, not literally, just by Free Guy because it's a joke. But anyway,
yeah.
The fact that she's in this, this movie with Ridley Scott, in the lead, and that I'm hearing really good things, about it. So
I think it was also written by Damon and Ben Affleck.
Holy cow! It is. Holy cast pajamas!
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that now. I wasn't sure, but now I got to see it. All right, so I love this movie. Five. It's my favorite movie of the year. It really had that. I mean, I wish more people were talking about, of course, the situation of the world we're in, and the rise of this Delta thing. It's, of course, I think, taking some wind out of the sails. But this film, I think this film is the IP Disney never knew it needed. I really think Disney needs to grab onto this. And when you said Wreck-It Ralph, I didn't really think of Wreck-It Ralph, and it has a lot in common with that. It's not the same at all. It just the feeling of it, the emotion of it has a lot in common, and of course, worlds of references and stuff that the gaming kind of aspect of it. But that's where that ends, the gaming, right? I really like this. Yeah, give me more. I can't wait. I really hope they're sincere about making more. My favorite scene, of course, is you mentioned it earlier with the shield and the Hulk hand. It's the music. I mean, okay. So let me set the scene up. This is all spoilers. Sorry if you haven't seen it, but you need to. One of the great things about the few things about gaming I know is that you scan through stuff to see your weapons, right? And they're scanning through, and it says shield, right? So he grabs the shield. And we're like, okay, it's going to be, this great big gaming shield of some sort, right? I didn't care. I was in the moment. It's great. But then as it starts forming, you hear that music and you're like, oh my God. Oh my God. And then you get all these reactions as well after it appears, and a really great cameo along with it. And then to make it even better, when the shield comes down, Hulk hands, my favorite character, of course. Oh, I was in heaven. That is the moment for me. That's my favorite moment of the year, not just the movie.
Well, and I think that whole thing where he's cycling through weapons and stuff, that's when a lot of the IPs sort of come out of the closet per se. Because there's the Star Wars reference, there's a reference to a weapon from Fortnite, there's a reference to a video game called Portal with a portal gun. So there's have those moments where you get to see a lot of these things that we see in the real world.
It's also a great battle between the two of them, with great dialogue from Dude, because it's never complete. It's so funny.
Although I will say, I don't know if you did you get the They Live vibe?
Now you said it. Because oh my God, the fight because when he finally gets the glasses on him, that's when the fight stops. Oh my God, it's so They Live. But the whole
yeah.
From that moment on, I was so in love with the Dude guy. I thought he was so funny. And then, like, later on, when he's up on, it's he doesn't stop there, which I love, and I can't wait to see more of it. They won me over with the character that I groaned in the trailer.
And I feel like even some of those characters, they give some little. I mean, there's even we talked about the moment with Buddy, but later on towards the end, when he's trying to escape or whatever, there's a moment with Buddy that's really sad and heartfelt, and I'm like, oh man, I'm getting emotional watching that part, so yeah, I don't know, it's just a wonderful film that doesn't I don't know, it's just,
I don't think they make movies like this anymore.
There's not really a level of happiness to films. There's always films that have you have, hate to mention it, but Zack Snyder, you have like some of these films that have a dark edge, which I don't mind dark edge films. I like darkly comedic, like the Suicide Squad and stuff. But in this one, it's just like a heartfelt, fun film that's embedded with just an infusion of goodness to it that you don't see in films at all. It's like they have this sort of negativity to it.
Negativity. That's the Department of Redundancy department there. I like that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. I just loved This film it's like it's a dessert for your eyes and soul. It just feels,
Oh my God, I love that. Put
it
that
puts
on
you in
the
a
box.
happy place, I think. At least for me, it does.
Wow. I like that a lot. All right, there you go. That's our review for Free Guy. If you didn't figure it out, we love the movie. Go see it and let us know what you think of it down in the comments below. Christopher G. Moore, thank you so much for taking the time out here late this evening to review this movie. Thank you, sir.
No problem. I'm glad I got to see this. I think if without your nudge, I might not have gone to see it. And I was having a bad day, and by the end of it, I was much better. So
Yay!
I appreciate the little little thing of confidence in regards to the film. So this is definitely one of the most entertaining films of the year.
Mission accomplished. All right, let's say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night.